Investment advisory services are offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. This is intended for informational and educational purposes only. The views, statements, and opinions expressed herein are those of the individual speakers and not necessarily those of Foundations and its affiliates. The information contained herein does not constitute an offer to sell any securities or represent an express or implied opinion or endorsement of any specific opportunity, offering, or issuer. Any discussion of performance or returns is not indicative of future results. Any mentions of rates and guarantees provided by insurance products and annuities are subject to the financial strength of the issuing company, not guaranteed by any bank or the FDIC. Each individual investor situation is different, and any ideas provided may not be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Foundations only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. Registration as an investment advisor is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators and does not mean that the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. A Roth conversion may not be suitable for your situation. The primary goal in converting retirement assets into a Roth IRA is to reduce the future tax liability on the distributions you take in retirement or on the distributions of your beneficiaries. The information provided is to help you determine whether or not a Roth IRA conversion may be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Please review your retirement savings, tax, and legacy planning strategies with your legal or tax advisor to be sure a Roth IRA conversion fits into your planning strategies. No legal or tax advice is provided. Always consult with a tax professional. All rights reserved.
Periodically reviewing your finances can help ensure that you are on track to achieve your goals and minimize the chances of any costly oversights. What better time to eliminate any March Madness in your financial plan than now?
And now, how to retire with Fuchs Financial.
The main thing for the majority of the listeners out there who are approaching retirement is I don't want to be surprised.
Helping you build, preserve, and manage your wealth.
You got Roth IRAs, you got individual accounts, and finding the right taxable strategy, that's going to be huge for you.
Welcome in to How to Retire with Ben Fuchs.
Hey, welcome in, everybody. This is How to Retire with Ben Fuchs. I'm consumer advocate Steve Siddall, and Ben has been helping folks for a good long while. And again, the independent fiduciary, you're a CFP at this point. And hey, Ben, I know that you're normally here with Gary. He's a little under the weather, but I'm happy to sit in his place.
We're honored to have you, Steve. Thank you.
Yes, and so this is going to be fun. I don't know if you're a big March Madness guy, but I sort of happened to, I sort of got into it when I moved to North Carolina, where I've got 3 colleges right here in Raleigh.
I don't know if you know anything about Connecticut. There's a little school called UConn, and people tend to get behind them.
Yes, they do, don't they?
It's a little bit of joy, a little bit of fan excitement here. Yes, there is a hardcore. Although there may be one rogue person in our office not rooting for them, she will not be named because I don't want her getting kicked out. But it's okay.
That's all right. Well, again, we look forward to March Madness. We look forward to, spring cleaning. I like when you talked about, cleaning your financial plan, so to speak, spring cleaning. And I guess we're going to talk some basics, Ben. And I guess, we're just start at the top and we talk about refreshing our budget. And I know the budget isn't a great word that people don't like, but you got to have one, right? I mean, it's got to be there.
Yes, and no. So okay. Not to fight. No, look, I agree that for a lot of people as they are building their wealth, having a budget is very important. It's one of like the top things when you're looking at CFP, things must be done. Having a budget is like what they spend the most time on originally. As you're approaching retirement, I think it's less about specifically having a budget and more about knowing about what you can spend, which sounds like a budget, but it's less detailed. It's less it's less, kind of line item by line item. I don't think about an Excel sheet when I think about what I can spend, whereas with a budget you can. But look, if you're saving and you are trying to figure out how you can get your finances back in order, refreshing your budget is important. We understand that obviously things have gone up in price. We've dealt with inflation on everything. And so refreshing that budget is going to give you a better handle on what you have. Also, on that list is building that emergency fund. So people groan and say, I don't want this emergency. Like, why do I need to do that before I can give you money? Ben, don't you want me to just give you money to invest? And to be honest, the answer is yes. It's in my self-interest to have you just give me money before building your emergency fund. I agree with you. However, if I'm looking out for your best interest as a fiduciary, the thing that's going to keep you from running into debt and running up your debt is having that emergency fund. We all know things happen. Pipes leak, especially in Connecticut, roofs, issues.
'Tis the season.
Right? How many? I mean, I can't imagine. There's nothing that I wanted to do less in my 20s than have to get new tires, because it was, it was one of those things where it's like, this is expensive and I don't want to pay for it, and it wasn't really in my budget. But that emergency fund is there so that you don't have to finance the things that are going to cost you money that you don't expect.
Sure. And again, there's certain there's strength in that. There's relief in that, knowing that it's there, just knowing that.
Right. I mean, that's the thing that says, hey, my boss has gotten way worse. I don't want to work for this person anymore. Can I leave? Well, not if you don't have an emergency fund.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If you want to leave your job and you don't have another plan, but you need to walk away, that emergency fund gives you some peace of mind.
Oh, I like that. I hadn't even thought about it that way, but great idea. And so let's talk about debt. And we, whether it's a mortgage or, but consumer debt in particular is a thorn in our side.
A thorn in our side. It's one of those things that we consider to be like a leech on our money, right? We're just paying for something that we bought a long time ago and paying more interest on it than we would pay for literally anything else. Mm-hmm. And so we're looking at credit card debt as really one of those, evils in a financial plan. If you in a situation you have to do it, there's no judgment, right? Everybody has it. It's okay, but also figuring out a way to handle that is important. And then once you come up with a plan, and we have different advisors here that have helped clients get out of debt and will continue to, and that's part of our goal and our mission, is to be able to help anybody that calls into us. And it doesn't matter if you have, $2,000 or $20 million, we have somebody here that can help you. So we want to be able to put you in a position where you have a goal and are able to get rid of that debt and face that head on.
And folks, if you want to get a head start, it's 800-380-8985, 800-380-8985. And Ben, what it seems to come down to for you and your group, it's a lot about education, isn't it? It's about making sure people know and understand.
It's about making sure people should know and understand, but also they do. I mean, how many people do you know that have, and I'm not attacking anybody here, but, have all the education in the world and just never do anything? Right? They understand so much, but they just never. We want to make sure that the doing actually gets done. There are a lot of people out there that are big procrastinators, and you're probably in your car nodding your head right now thinking, yeah, that may or may not be me. Well, this is the opportunity to do something. So when we talk about these things, there are a few really important pieces, right? We talked about, again, refreshing your budget, knowing what you're spending, building that emergency fund so that even if you go over your spending or something happens, you have a place to get you have a place to get money from without going into debt. And then, of course, the debt that we have that we already talked about, having a plan for getting rid of it. And then the next on that list is contributing to your 401k plan or IRA. We have to save for retirement. And even people that are approaching retirement, we can understand that the vast majority of you are not going to be spending now, or not going to be getting the same income as you are right now, right? 2-3 years from now, when you are retired, 5 years from now, when you're fully retired, the income may be a little bit less. So contributing to your 401k, one, helps build up that income, build up that cash reserve. Two, if it's traditional, it's going to help lower your taxes. And then three, it's going to get you used to spending less. So all these things are meant as a guide to help you get to the right place.
Oh, I like that. It's a great way to describe it. And let's talk taxes, because we are in that season as well. People are thinking about it. And one of the things in retirement, Ben, is the importance of a tax strategy. More than just a plan, it's a strategy.
You can't see it at home, people, but as soon as Steve mentioned taxes, I had a massive eye roll because but taxes are incredibly important. And as you're doing your taxes, the things that you want to take note of that you really have strong control over are dividends and capital gains and interest. If you're paying a lot of taxes on interest that's in the bank that you didn't use for income, there are things that we can do to avoid that. If you had a lot of required minimum distributions, again, that's something that we can look at and that we can change, or at least figure out a plan for how you can handle those differently. But ultimately, understanding how your money is taxed, understanding the relationship between all of your other income and Social Security and IRA withdrawals and pension income and how that's taxed both federally and in Connecticut is going to help you get ahead of the game.
Of course. And so we talk about asset allocation. We talk about that a lot, asset allocation and how important that is, especially obviously with our investments. And right now is a good, we talk about spring cleaning. It's a good time to just take a look and see if we can make some changes or if we need to make some changes.
Without question. So asset allocation is interesting. So you can kind of look at it in a number of different ways. You can look at it as from a taxable standpoint. Are the investments in the right place? Do I have my income investments in a place where when I'm not paying taxes on them if I'm not using them? If so, maybe I should reconsider. Maybe that should be in a different place, or maybe I should have somebody revisit my plan. And then also, am I taking enough risk? Am I taking too much risk? When we talk about asset allocation, this is incredibly important depending on how soon you will need this money. What people, I think, really focus on too much to me is age. I don't care how old you are. I care about when you're going to need your money. You could be 95 years old and never need to touch any of the money that's in stocks. And it's okay to have 98% of your money in stocks at that point if you're never going to touch it. Who's going to tell Warren Buffett to take down the amount of money he has in stocks? It's not about age. It's about when you're going to be reliant on that money. When do you need to use this money? And that's when you need to start making changes.
And that's where it's important to work with an independent fiduciary such as yourself and your team to make sure that, one, you're looking out for me, and again, because you've got a lot of experience in helping folks get to where they need to be in retirement.
Yeah, I mean, I would hate if you could just Google everything about my job and do it on your own. That would be bad for me because then I would no longer have a job. But what I can say is that the experience and the designations that each member of my team has brings something unique and important to the table. And one of the reasons that we work as a team when we get together is so that we're able to help just about anybody that comes to us. Now, don't get me wrong, some people have different goals. If you want to quintuple your money in a year, we are not the firm for you. We're not the people that are trying to, triple what you have in 3 months and buy and sell and get in and out of me. No, we are in this for the long haul. We are a slow and steady wins the race type of firm. And that's why it's important to sit down with not just a financial advisor, but the right financial advisor for you. We're not a hedge fund. There are those. You can find them. They might be a better fit for you. What we look for is figuring out how we can help people transition from working to retirement, how we can help them minimize their taxes, how we can help them generate a paycheck from their investments so they don't have to worry about where that next paycheck comes from. We can help them figure out when to take Social Security, how to minimize taxes, making sure they have a right estate plan so they have a will, a trust, or irrevocable trust. If we're worried about money going to a long-term care facility versus, your descendants. Those are all things that we work for, and we call that a how to retire blueprint. So that's what we can do to help you get set up and put you in the best position for retirement.
Well, that sounds great, Ben. Again, here's an opportunity for you to come on in, sit down, and get a financial roadmap put together once and for all. Take that complex financial world, turn it into something that really makes sense. This is a chance for you to get a how to retire blueprint. And for anyone listening, just give us a call, 800-380-8985. That's 800-380-8985. 10 callers right now will get the comprehensive financial review showing you where you are now. But more importantly, it becomes that roadmap that can help get you to where you need to be. 800-380-8985. We're going to take a quick break, Ben, and we'll come right back and continue our conversation.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, depending on who you ask. With March Madness upon us, we are taking a look at some of the lessons we can take from the world of college hoops to give us an edge in our financial planning game.
He's letting the clock run out on his Social Security to age 70 for maximum benefits. And here comes the Roth conversion. He's locked in for income for life. He's got some outstanding coaching with that annuity plan. He's created his own pension as well, and it looks like he's going to go all the way.
Play your best retirement game. Call Ben Fuchs at Fuchs Financial, 800-380-8985, 800-380-8985.
Hey, we're back on How to Retire with Ben Fuchs. I'm Steve Siddall, and of course, Ben's been helping folks for a long time. You are independent fiduciary, and in Hartford, like you said, you are in the throes of winter still, aren't you?
Well, it's cold, but it's beginning to thaw, man. And
is it?
And let it be, so we have offices in West Hartford, in Middlebury, and in Middletown. And then, of course, we do appointments by Zoom. But anywhere you go pretty much in this state, it is slightly warmer or beginning to, we're not in the Carolinas like some people.
Yeah, right. Well, again, you get that. I've got a niece that lives in Connecticut, and she's just been bemoaning the snow because she grew up in the South. So,
well, I grew up in the South too, man. I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee originally before my parents dragged me here to Connecticut. I'm very happy to be here now, by the way, but that's where I did grow up. But look, would I have to try and drag a winter coat onto my child when it is 20 degrees outside because they're saying they're fine? Yeah, I feel her pain too. But we're just beginning that thought. We get like a day of 60 and then a day back of 35, and then
right.
So we're in the pendulum swing right now. That is Connecticut.
I get it. And again, Ben, with what you do, you were talking about the How to Retire Blueprint, and what you do, obviously, is you help us with income planning, investment planning, all of those things. And so we're going to equate that now to college basketball. And I know a lot of folks are excited about March Madness, and I'm guessing you are among them, Ben.
So, truth be told, with 3 children and the business and, trying to manage, I have slightly less time to appreciate basketball than I used to, but I will still be rooting as hard as anybody for the UConn.
Of course, yeah.
Without question.
Sure. And, with a sports team, with any kind of team, whether it's your team or a sports team, it comes down to fundamentals, doesn't it? I mean, we all have to know the basics. We all have to know what to do and when to do it.
Right. Yeah. So that's really important. It is all about fundamentals, right? You're playing basketball, ball goes up, we got to box out, we got to get that rebound. I mean, it's the same concept. We need to make sure that we're doing all the little things right in a retirement plan in order to make sure that we are effective, because otherwise we miss something. We were creating a retirement plan recently for a new client that came on. And one of the newer advisors, he and I were having a conversation, and he's saying, I don't think they need a lot of safe money. They're not really worried about it. They don't. And looking at the plan, I'm saying, hey, man, let's take a look at this. Let's do a little bit deeper dive, because fundamentally we need to make sure that we have a place where we can get money from when the market crashes. We know the market is going to crash. We just simply do not know when. So we just have to have a place where they can get that and have that peace of mind. And I can tell you, as somebody who was definitely around for the dot-com bubble and definitely lived through the Great Recession and was it fully invested in real estate before the Great Recession, how painful it was when you saw your investment drop by hundreds of thousands of dollars in what felt like overnight. And so you need to have a safety net no matter what to get there. And a lot of these people, younger people, they're not there, but that's why we work as a team, so that all the investments are done the right way and make sure that whoever you talk to at our firm, you're going to get the best investment advice we can offer.
Absolutely. And I like the way that you do work as a team. And there's no one person that, that claims all the credit, is what you're saying.
Right. I mean, except for me, because I put my name on the company. But
I know.
But everybody else, yes. But everybody else, yes. No one person. We work as a team. No, it's all me. No.
Yeah. So no, I was headed there. So when you start putting that bracket together, right? When you're building that, you got all the teams. It's right. We're coming up on Selection Sunday, and you don't get tunnel visions. In other words, just because UConn always wins, doesn't mean.
If I do 30 brackets, UConn's winning in 29 of them, but whatever.
Yeah. I understand. But again, when it comes to our money, we shouldn't be focused on like one stock, I guess.
No question. Right. Very important. And especially in this area where we have a lot of people that work for United Technologies or now Raytheon, or Electric Boat. We have clients and all the insurance companies. They tend to be over allocated to their company stock. They know it. They feel like they understand it better. They see a path forward where they're going to make a lot of money. United Health Group in particular, right, where people have so much of their money in one stock. And so that is an over allocation that we would consider to be an unnecessary risk. Now, we've told people to sell stocks before, and those stocks have still gone up, and we don't feel bad. because our goal, again, isn't to try and quadruple the money. It's to maintain what you have. And if you have enough right now to be comfortable, we want to keep you in that position to be comfortable. We just want to make sure that you can do whatever you want for the rest of your life. We're not worried about building a massive legacy because, what's that old song? What goes up must come down.
Come down, yeah.
So we have to play by those rules a little bit. And,
sure.
We want the market to continue to go up. We expect it to continue to go up, but we also know that things can change. And when you have all of your money in one stock, and not just a big bucket of stocks, but in one stock, obviously there's more individualized risk for that one company.
Sure. And are you seeing a lot of people have a lot of stock in a particular company? So,
Yeah.
I mean, again, because I know when I worked for a big company, I did too. So,
well, I mean, for a lot of people, they would just match that company stock originally. So instead of having it go back into the target retirement date fund or whatever allocation they have in their 401k, it was just all back into their company stock, which is fine when it went up. But, and I don't mean to bring up a painful subject, but the people that work for Travelers in the 2008s and 9s, those people really took a hit. And so there are some cautionary tales here.
Yes, cautionary tales. I like that. And make sure you have good balance when it comes to where you are. So is that, when I say balance, does that mean it's like the just in case money, the oops basket?
Yeah, and the upside, like we talked about before, having a safety net, right? Having that place where a tire blows or pipe bursts or roof leaks or tree falls, you have money that you have available to you in case these things happen. Your emergency fund. You need the same thing in retirement, but you need to plan for a couple of years. In 2008, it took 5 years for the market to come back to where it was. It was in 2013 when the market got back to where it was at the height of 2008. And so we need to have money as a balance that allows us to be comfortable and maintain our lifestyle in retirement without having to take that kind of risk. But yes, a balance, right? That's proper allocation. When you hear people say the word diversification, which might be the most overused word in our industry, diversification, but it's important because people don't do it. I met with a couple recently, and they had like 25 different mutual funds. And they say, oh, we're so diversified. We have all these different funds. Well, I would say of those 25 funds, like 23 of them all own Microsoft. 23 of them all own Amazon, all own Apple, all own NVIDIA. And so here we are with this diversification, but they all own the same thing.
Sure. And again, but that's the beauty of working with an independent advisor like you, because you see that and you can help steer us in what might be a better direction.
Sure. I mean, that's the goal, right? What we do is we try to gather as much research on what you presently have and figure out how we can either make it better or have you be comfortable with where you are. Our goal isn't to have you come in and say everything's awful, come work with us. If you're in a good spot, great. Maybe there's just a few tweaks here and there that you can do, but ultimately, hey, we like where you are. You're going on the right track. Keep doing what you're doing. Just do this instead of this, right? There's just little pieces that we can help you with. But that's why we offer the free consultation.
800-380-8985 is the number. And let's see, Cinderella stories. And again, there have been a few Cinderella stories in the world of basketball. I think, so this year, and this is in women's basketball, are you familiar with Caitlin Clark?
I may have heard the name once or 5,000 times.
Yeah, holy cow, she's amazing.
Is she good? Is she any good?
I think that's what I heard. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. She seems to be good. Look, she doesn't play for the UConn women, so I don't care.
Right, but they could happen.
I'm kidding. Yes. Yeah. Great. No, she's great. She's doing great.
She is, yeah.
Absolutely. So back to Cinderella stories. I mean, I can't tell you how many of my friends have been like, Ben, this penny stock, it's going to be amazing. It's going to, my buddy who I really want to name, but I will not, had me buy the solar company. And I'm like, look, man, I'll put a little bit of money into it. If it goes, it's like a lottery ticket. If it goes up one,
all right.
But it did not. It went in the opposite direction. And, even what you call experts, they have made picks that have flopped. That happens. I mean, how many experts do you hear on ESPN predicting the winners and then just losing? Charles Barkley knows a fair amount about basketball, but I don't know if that dude has ever gotten a pick correctly. So
I think you're right.
I think this idea of, hey, this thing is going to go crazy. Okay, good. Take a flyer, put a little bit of money on it. I mean, in terms of a stock, if that's what you think is going to do well, but let's not base our whole retirement on something. With that said,
right.
I mean, there are always exceptions to the rule, but that may be, not something that we want to base everything on.
Well, again, it comes down to this, too, is having a great coach. And that's really how I think you and your team, I mean, that's how I see a lot of advisors as a coach. You're there to help us. You're there to encourage us, to push us a little further.
I think ultimately you want a coach to create the game plan. Right?
Yes.
The players play. And I think the coaches with the best players tend to win, but also the coaches with the best game plan win. And what we do are strategies for retirement. I am a certified financial planner professional. I am a certified private wealth advisor professional. I got those designations so that I could make my clients feel comfortable that I'm doing everything that I can to put them in the best position to win in retirement. And we're talking about coaching. My job is to coach you to do everything correctly, whether that's reallocating your 401k, because nobody gives you any direction on that, and it drives me a little bit crazy. But the most important thing in retirement and the most important thing for retirees has been steady and consistent paychecks. We want to make sure that we're able to generate a consistent monthly income for our clients, but also one that will grow with inflation. We need to make sure that just because we're getting income now, we know we're going to need more down the road. So that has to be planned for. So again, when to take Social Security, generating income, generating the right investment plan, making sure that you're taking all this money and it's tax efficient. These are the things that we do to help put you in the best position that we can for retirement.
Sounds fantastic, Ben. Do take advantage. It's why we're giving you the opportunity to review your individual retirement plans. You can find out if there are any potential red flags that could cause a problem for you down the line. Or you can find out how much you're paying in fees or commissions. Do you know, really? Well, let Ben take a deep dive and find out. How to Retire Blueprint. That's what we're talking about. It's a phone call away. Just give us a call. 800-380-8985. That's 800-380-8985. Ben, let's take a quick break. Come on back and we'll talk some more.
Coming up next, we take a look at some of the life lessons from legendary basketball coaches and how they apply to the financial planning journey.
We believe in better. A better way to invest. A better way to serve you. And a better result. We can help you determine how much risk you're taking, red flags that could be potential problems for you, how much you are paying in fees or commissions, potential tax liability, or even how to address Social Security. Call Ben Fuchs at Fuchs Financial, proudly serving all of Connecticut. Call today, 800-380-8985. 800-380-8985.
We're back on How to Retire with Ben Fuchs. I'm Steve Siddall, and this is, again, been a fun show, getting to know you a little bit, Ben. I know Gary's under the weather, and so it's always fun to get a different perspective from an advisor on things, and I think I like your style.
Thank you. I'm grateful. If you didn't, you could tell me those things. I appreciate
Well, that's what I'm saying. I like what you're doing. So let's talk basketball coaches. I mean, because there are some good ones out there. The John Wooden, we call them Woodenisms. And I love this first one. If you don't have time to do it right, when will you have time to do it over?
Look, nothing resonates with me more than this particular quote. We do not have time with all of the things that technology has given us, right? The ability to shoot an email right away and to, put something, the incredible, amazing stuff. It's also, we just have less and less time and opportunity to do things on our own, like the way we used to do it. And I know that if I'm with a client and we don't record something correctly right away, we might never get done, right? So we need to make sure that we're doing things correctly and doing them right. And so what's important here is to take a minute to take that deep breath and to make sure that we're handling this stuff correctly. When it comes to retirement, we do not have the opportunity, in most cases, for a do-over. I don't know anybody that wants to retire at 64 and then have to go back to work at 72. So if we're not going to do it right the first time, when are you going to have the opportunity to do it over?
Sure. Well, again, you make such a great point, and that just in retirement planning in general, do it right the first time. And I know what that's like. You wake up and you're 50 years old and you kind of go, holy cow, I got to do something.
Right. And, I think a lot of people have had that wake-up call like,
Yeah.
Ben, what do I do now? Oh, my gosh.
Exactly. That's it. That's it. But that's a good time, right? I mean, if you're 50, you're kind of getting in that financial red zone. That's a good time to sit down with you.
Well, without question. And what we can do, I mean, in a lot of cases, you're 48, you're 50, you're 55, you're 62. Sure. It doesn't matter. When you get to that point, when you start thinking about retirement, that's when you should give us a call. Or give someone a call, but give us a call and let us figure out how we can help you best prepare for retirement. If that's saying, all right, look, here's what you're spending now. If you're going to continue spending the exact same thing now as you are in retirement, you can't retire for 20 years. Are you okay with that? No, I'm not okay with that. Okay, what do we need to do? Right? So let's help figure out a plan.
Sure. And again, that number to call is 800-380-8985. And we're talking about coaches. Dean Smith, a longtime University of North Carolina coach. He was Michael Jordan's coach. So he's yeah, that guy.
Never heard of him. Yeah.
So one of the things that Dean Smith said is, if you do what we ask you to do, the victories will belong to you and the losses to me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I like that.
I like that. And I think for a lot of coaches, it's, look, you got to trust me, right? I've been doing this a long time. You got to trust me. And as somebody who, has worked with people and they're like, oh, this is how I think we should do it. I hear what you're saying. And in the most respectful way possible, you're wrong. This is
sure. Yeah, no, I get it.
Right. I mean, or you can do it that way, but here are the risks. And I think that's really what we say is that ultimately this is your money. It's your choice. We're here to help you do what you want to do with it. But here are the risks that we see. Here's why we wouldn't go that route, but you do whatever you want because it is your money. Ultimately, you're the player out there. If I'm a football coach and the quarterback keeps on changing it and calls an audible, hey, I mean, ultimately, you have to have some autonomy there. You have to do what you think is right based on the field and the conditions that you see. I respect that. At the same time, I'm the coach, man. We have a game plan. Let's stick to the game plan so that we can win. And if you trust me, hey, no one's going to be, that coach did great. It's going to be, that player hit the right shot.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're right. Absolutely. And it's very clear there. Let's see. Jim Valvano. You know Jimmy V?
Yes, I would say that I think we all here know and love Jimmy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And again, his speech at the ESPYs where he announced the Jimmy V Foundation, and Jim Valvano was NC State basketball coach. He was just a great guy. But we're gonna play a piece of sound. This is from that speech that he gave at the ESPYs. This kind of happened in the middle of the speech.
There are three things we all should do every day. We do this every day of our life. You're going to have, what a wonderful, number one is laugh. You should laugh every day. Number two is think. You should spend some time in thought. And number three is you should have your emotions moved to tears. Could be happiness or joy. But think about it. If you laugh, you think, and you cry, that's a full day. That's a heck of a day. You do that 7 days a week, you're going to have something special.
Yes, you will. Again, that's just, I mean, from that speech, and I watch that speech at least once a year just because it certainly inspires me.
Yeah, I mean, and it is a reminder that what we're doing with money is just a means to an end. Our goal as financial advisors is to take the pressure of handling this money off of your shoulders, put it on ours so that you can go and live your life. So that you can laugh, so that you can think, so that you can cry, so that you can live. And I think that's so, inspiring. But the whole goal is to have money to not worry about it, right? We want to have enough so we don't have to think about it on a day-to-day. You don't want to go on vacation and be like, hey, I can't do this because blank. No, our goal is to show you how you can do that, to give you the confidence to be able to spend your own money comfortably and to just not worry about it.
To spend your own money comfortably, I think that's important, Ben, because I know for a lot of people, they spend their entire life, working life, saving, and it comes time to retirement, and they say, I can't spend this money. I got to keep saving. Right. How do you deal with that?
Honestly, it's through the investments that we do. So first, it's a conversation because most people want to spend down their bank account before they start touching their 401k. And if you're doing that, I'm not going to say that you're totally wrong, but I'm going to say that's not how we would recommend you doing it.
Okay.
Two, before people retire, what we like to do is generate income on a consistent monthly basis inside of their retirement accounts. We do that inside of their retirement accounts so that they don't have to pay taxes on that money until they take it out. But it also shows them what they can spend comfortably without reducing their principal. And when you empower them to see what they can comfortably spend, all of a sudden retirement becomes so much easier. And the idea of taking that money is no longer a burden. It's, hey, I can do this. We've got a plan. I'm in good shape.
I want to go on vacation. I want to see the grandkids. I want to play golf. I mean, all of those things become reality.
I just don't want to work anymore, and I want to be in my garden. Cool. Right? Yeah. Whatever that may be, it's great. But our goal is to give you the freedom to do that. Look, I meet with a lot of people. A lot of people say, hey, we want to get that RV. We want to tour the country. Yes, The world is great, but there's so much of this country we haven't seen. Wonderful. And then we have a lot of people that says, look, I'm a homebody. I just want to know that I can hang out and I can be okay, and I'm just not going to have to worry. That's our goal.
That's all right. And a great goal it is. And certainly the clients are the beneficiaries of that.
No question about it.
Longtime Kentucky basketball head coach John Capillari. I like this one too. Go ahead.
Oh, Calipari. Yeah. Capillary. That's our blood. Yeah, no, Calipari. Okay.
Yeah, right. So a successful person never loses. They either win or learn.
All right. So I hate to relate basketball to financial planning to being a father, but I think one of the things that happen is that your kids get so focused on winning that they don't see the value. And to me, I know this is bad, but I don't mind when my kids lose because they learn so much more when that happens. When they win, they're excited, they're joyous, they're happy, they're screaming, but they don't have the same takeaways. When you lose, man, you think about why you lost. How did I get beat by that person? What can I do differently? And you're thinking and you're processing. And that's where you learn the most. And I think that what you find is that most people who are successful in business, in sports, in life, is that they have made mistakes and they have learned from them, and that has propelled them through. And I love that.
Oh, absolutely. And again, a successful person never loses. They either win or learn. And that's really what we're doing here. And folks, if you want to get a head start, let me give you a phone number. It's 800-380-8985. And let's see. We were talking about the Hall of Fame Indiana coach, Bobby Knight. I love Bobby Knight. What's not to like? He says the will to succeed is important, but what's more important is the will to prepare. And say what you will, he makes sense.
Oh, yeah, no, look, I think we've all seen a clip or two of Bobby Knight.
Oh, you think so?
his calm approach to basketball and coaching.
Oh, yeah.
But what was it? What was the clip that I saw recently? It was something like, Steph Curry has taken 500 shots every day in practice, 7 days a week. But the amount of shots that he's taken in a game is only a small, tiny fraction of the amount of shots that he's taken in practice because he prepared so much to win that when he got the opportunity, he was ready. And nothing is more important in retirement planning than preparation. You don't get anywhere. You do not retire without preparation unless you win the lottery and you get incredibly lucky. But again, we're not basing this on a Hail Mary. We want to make sure that we have control in retirement. In order to get control, we have to prepare, make sure that we have all of our things so that when it is time for us to go and leave work, or maybe our boss just said something that we don't like and we just wanted to walk away, we have the ability to do that because you have prepared. But that's why we offer our How to Retire Blueprint. We offer it so that you have that opportunity. So we want to figure out, when are you going to take Social Security? Or how should you take your pension? Should we take it in a lump sum? Should you take it with survivorship for your spouse? What's the best approach here? And then from there, it's what do we need to generate on a monthly basis from the investments that you have? How do we generate that income consistently and predictably so that you don't have to worry about running out of your money? How do we maintain your principal and give you a paycheck when you have retired? What are the investments that it takes to do that? And how do we set all this up so that you're paying as little taxes as you possibly can? What can we do to prepare you to pay the least amount of taxes and still generate as much income as you want in retirement? And once we've taken care of the investments and the income and the taxes, then we have to focus on estate planning. Is your money going where you want it to? Is it set up in a way that it can avoid probate if that's the goal? Is it set up in a way that if you go into a nursing home, there'll still be something left over for the next generation? If those are your goals and these are the things that you're worried about, then you should give us a call, because that's how we can help you prepare for your best retirement.
Oh, Ben, absolutely. 800-380-8985. It's why really you're going to get an opportunity to get a financial roadmap put together. 800-380-8985. 800-380-8985. 800-380-8985. One more quick break. We'll be right back with more How to Retire with Ben Fuchs right after this.
Do you ever feel like you're fighting for financial knowledge? Don't let bad advice be a punch in the gut to your retirement. Take advantage of a complimentary, no-cost, no-obligation consultation with a local, trusted financial coach.
Call Ben Fuchs and the team at Fuchs Financial, 800-380-8985. That's 800-380-8985.
Hey, we're back on How to Retire with Ben Fuchs. I'm Steve Siddall. Ben, a certified financial planner, certified private wealth advisor, a professional, and a fiduciary with more than 20 years in the financial investment world and so much more. Ben, it's been fun getting to know you a little bit today. I appreciate that. And again, you said you got 3 kids, right?
I got 3 kids, yes, 9, 6, and 2. Yep.
Whoa, you got your hands full.
We are having fun right now. Yes, it is a good time.
Absolutely.
A lot of running around, maybe a little bit more back pain than I'm used to, but it's good stuff.
Oh, it's true. Absolutely. It's all about the memories, right?
Sure. That's what I keep telling myself. Yeah.
That's right. Exactly. Well, so let me ask you this. What's your website?
It's fuchsfinancial.com. FUCHSFINANCIAL.com.
FuchsFinancial.com. Check out the website, folks. It's worth visiting. You'll get to know a little bit about Ben, and you get to learn a little bit more about his team. And other stuff, too. There's other good stuff there.
We do have a fair amount of stuff on there. Most of it is just, how amazing we are. Be prepared for plenty of that, joy. But it is a good website, and it does have a lot of the topics that we've gone in here. We have blog posts that kind of go into more detail. We have videos that we've done on news segments and in other places where we go into a little bit more detail on other pieces. So if you're looking for more information, fuchsfinancial.com, that website is a great resource.
Sure. Sounds like it. And all right, let's jump into a couple of questions here while we still have time. Art is in Avon, and he is wondering, how much is a traditional 401k taxed? Is it worth trying to convert to a Roth?
All right, Art. This is one of those questions that take all day.
Yep.
So this is important. So a traditional 401k, traditional IRA, or 403b, or thrift savings plan, or 457. They are all taxed the same, and it is based on the amount of other money that you have. And so what happens is that you basically, when you retire, you don't have any other income, or maybe you have Social Security, or maybe you have a pension, but depending on the total amount of money that's taxed will depend on what your actual tax bracket is. Now, Social Security is taxed differently from IRA or 401k withdrawals. There's a whole formula that talks about, it's called the provisional income formula. But ultimately, when you come in for an appointment, we'll go through and we'll explain how much you're going to be taxed based on how much you plan to take out and where all your other income sources are coming from. We have a number of different pieces of software that we use with clients and people who just want to come in for a free consultation that we can help to guide them in terms of what they should be expecting from taxes when they retire.
Boy, what a great thing to find out, folks. 800-380-8985 is the number. There you go, Art. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. Becky has a question from Berlin, and she says, are there disadvantages to consider before exercising the option to annuitize an equitable variable annuity? I purchased 2 annuities in 2008 and have reached the point where I may now exercise the option to receive lifetime income benefits. Would there be any issues I should consider before doing so?
So this is interesting. If you have an annuity that was purchased 7, 8, 10, 15 years ago, you probably want to have it reevaluated. So what happened back then is that interest rates were, in most cases, lower than they are right now. And so the amount of monthly payout that you would get from that, the amount of monthly income that you would generate from that may be lower than it would be if you moved it and put it into a new annuity now. Now, I'm not saying that you do that. I'm not saying that you need to do that. But I have had instances where people were getting, 50, 55,000 a year if they were to elect the income. And we've run a quote and we went from 55,000 to 70,000 a year in income without any other changes, just moving it from one company to another because interest rates are so much higher now. So
Right.
Again, just by getting that quote, we were able to generate another 15,000-ish a year, approximately.
Wow. I mean,
And
that's
so
fantastic.
It's fantastic. But, that's when we talk about having a second opinion. It's okay to have an advisor. It's okay that you have somebody for a long time. But, if you can get a second opinion and get that information, man, I'd like that. And that's not saying that everybody should have an annuity. I'm not a believer that everybody needs to have an annuity. I just need to make sure that we have a safe place to pull money from. And that's what's really important.
Yes. Okay. And again, give us a call. We'd love to hear from you, Becky. It's 800-380-8985. On we go. Frankie is in Farmington. He says, I am well into retirement age, although still working, and have my nest egg of about $500,000 invested entirely in stocks. But I'm getting worried about the future of the economy and the market. Should I transfer everything to a safer investment? All your eggs in one basket, huh?
All right, Frankie, let's talk about it. So, look, if I had everything in stocks, I'd be concerned too. And I think that you should be concerned because, market downturn really could affect the way that you're living. And also, we're coming up on an election year. There's more anxiety this year than ever. I hear the radio, they start to go into election stuff, and I'm like, nope, find some music.
Yes, exactly.
I want to have some peace of mind, and I don't want to have my anxiety levels just go through the roof, which is, me. That's just how I operate. But
right.
The other part of this equation was, should I have everything go to a safer investment? Everything was the key word. And the answer to that is also no. To me, I don't want all of anybody's money in any one thing. Yeah, sure, some money can be safe, no problem. But look, if we have just enough money for you to generate the monthly income that you need right now, where are we going to be in 2, 3, 5 years? What happens when things go? If you had just enough money to live on in 2019, and you fast forward to today, the amount of inflation that we've had from pre-COVID to now is significant. And we don't want to be put in a position where we have to rely on our children, where we have to rely on other people. We want to give you autonomy. We want you to have control. And the way that you get control is by having a properly allocated account that can grow when the market grows, that has a safe fall when the market crashes. But you don't get all of that by having everything in stocks or everything safe. You need to have a balance.
Sure. All right. 800-380-8985 is the number. Deborah is in Danbury, and she says, how do I determine how much to withhold on my monthly Social Security? This will be the first year that I receive benefits starting in September.
So, taxes are and always will be, I think, a really, really important part of how we approach retirement. And if we look at this and we say, okay, I got a simple question, Ben, how much do I withhold on my taxes? Well, it depends on the other income. And what I said earlier was that if you come in for an appointment or when you come in for an appointment, we have software that will go through and explain, based on your other income, how much you have for Social Security. Another question that tends to come along with this is also Roth conversions. Should I be converting more of my money to a Roth IRA? And in a lot of cases, the answer is yes. And in a lot of cases, the answer is no. Ben, that doesn't make sense. You're right. I'm sorry. I can't control that. But the truth is that it depends on how much you're going to be spending. And so if you figure out that we're going to be taking a fair amount of money from required minimum distributions every single year, and it's going to be way more than we need every single year, then we probably want to be doing Roth conversions ahead of that time period so that we can get ahead of it, so that we can pay the taxes now and have all the growth that we're not going to be using go into a Roth IRA and have that continue to grow tax-free so that we're not forced to pull more of that money out. Now, on the flip side, if we're going to be taking exactly what we need, or we need to take a little bit more than we're supposed to pull from the required distributions. That would be a different scenario. Then it's not as important to do the conversion to the Roth IRA. You're going to be taking all that money out anyway. So it's okay. It's not really going to hurt you to do these Roth conversions. You need that income. The problem with talking on TV and the problem with talking on radio is that we're talking to thousands of people at a time, and it's hard to give individualized advice.
Of course.
My goal is to help everybody give some understanding. That's why I try to do scenario-based investing. When you come in for an appointment with us, one of the things that we're going to do is go through specific scenarios, because I think these are the questions that most people have. Hey, Ben, if I retire at 63, will I have enough money to last? That doesn't mean I'm going to retire at 63. I just want to know if I could do it. Okay, cool. Maybe I could make it at 63. What happens if I go to 65? Okay, great. Hey, I have been putting so much of my money into my retirement plan that I feel like I'm retirement rich and life poor. Well, you've done a good job saving. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
But the question is, can I put less in and enjoy some stuff now? I think this is really important, because depending on where you are and what you've been doing, the answer should either be yes or no. But if it's yes, you want to find out and say, hey, I don't need to put so much in. Let me just do more with my money now. Because look, we're never going to be younger than we are right now. And maybe we're not going to be healthier. So we want to take the time and the opportunity to go on the trips, to do the things that we want to do while we still have the opportunity. And unfortunately, me and other people in my business who have helped people who retire have seen too many people that have saved and saved and saved and then never got to use it. My goal as a financial advisor is to be able to take the pressure of money management off your shoulders and empower you to do the things that all of your savings has done. I want you to be in a position where you feel empowered to spend what you want to comfortably spend without going over, without the fear of running out. You've put in all the hard work. We talked about coaching earlier. Coming up with the right game plan, that's what I do. But my clients have done all the hard work. They're the ones that have saved their whole lives. They're the ones that have worked hard to put all this money away. Our goal is to help you figure out a way to make it last. So when it comes time to figure out when you should take Social Security, if we're trying to figure out how much income we need to generate from your investments every single month so that you're comfortable, and then also not reduce that principal, if we're looking at taxes and making sure that you are paying as little as you possibly can and you understand what could be the triggers in the tax code, that's what we're here to help you with. And once we've taken care of all those things, then we want to focus also on your estate planning and long-term taxes and wealth conversions. And that's what we're here to help. And that's what we call the How to Retire Blueprint. But we can't do any of that stuff until you pick up the phone and give us a call.
800-380-8985. That's the number, 800-380-8985. It's advice like that shows you just how important it is to meet with a financial coach who truly understands the ins and outs of the financial world. Ben certainly does that. Take advantage of this opportunity to make sure that you are on the right path, and that path is based on your risk preferences, your budget, and your goals. How to Retire Blueprint, that's what we're talking about. It's a phone call away, 800-380-8985, 800-380-8985. Well, Ben, this has been a pleasure. Boy, the show went by really, really quick, and some really good information.
I appreciate that, Steve. It was a lot of fun for me, too. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Investment advisory services are offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, hereafter known as Foundations, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The content provided is intended for informational and educational purposes only. The views, statements, and opinions expressed herein are those of the individual speakers and not necessarily those of Foundations and its affiliates. The information contained herein does not constitute an offer to sell any securities or represent an express or implied opinion or endorsement of any specific investment, opportunity, offering, or issuer. Any discussion of performance or returns is not indicative of future results. Any discussions of specific strategies are for informational purposes only and have been provided to help determine whether they may be appropriate for your specific situation. If applicable, the primary goal in converting retirement assets into a Roth IRA is to reduce the future tax liability on the distributions you take in retirement or on the distributions of your beneficiaries. Each individual investor situation is different, and ideas provided may not be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Foundations only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. Registration as an investment advisor is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. Nothing herein constitutes a recommendation that any security, portfolio of securities, or investment strategy is suitable for any person. No legal or tax advice is provided. Please review your retirement, tax, and legacy planning strategies with a legal or tax professional before transacting or implementing any strategy discussed herein. Any comments regarding safe and secure investments and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to investment advisory products. Rates and guarantees provided by insurance products and annuities are subject to the financial strength of the issuing insurance company, not guaranteed by any bank or the FDIC. This is not endorsed or affiliated with the Social Security Administration, any federal Medicare program, or any U.S. government agency. If applicable, we do not offer every plan available in your area. Any information we provide is limited to those plans we do offer in your area. Please contact Medicare.gov or 1-800-MEDICARE to get information on all of your options. All rights reserved.